Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Ich warte seit Wochen auf diesen Tag und tanz vor Freude über den Asphalt. Als wär's ein Rhythmus, als gäb's ein Lied, das mich immer weiter durch die Straßen zieht. Komm dir entgegen.
Hello and welcome to Gegenpressing, the Bundesliga podcast. And yes, we're back with our pre-match day 2 predictions. And helping me do this as always is Stefan Bienkowski. Stefan, how's it going?
Yeah, very, very well. We're quite rushed for time this week, aren't we? You've unfortunately got COVID, and it's coincided with me leaving on my, as we call it in the UK, stag do to Germany. I think we'd maybe call it a bachelor party in the US, but I'm leaving for that tomorrow morning. You're still overcoming COVID. It's been a challenging week.
Yeah, and in fairness, it's pretty much gone now. Most of the symptoms have passed. Today's my freedom day, Stefan. I'm allowed back outside. It's exciting. We'll go for a nice long walk later. I don't think I can do much more than that. But yeah, we want to kind of rush through match day 2 here real quickly, and let's get this done and over with.
This episode of the Gegenpressing podcast is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that is BLEAV50, BELIEVE50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on our first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
All right, so Friday, and this is actually my match of the week, Stefan. Freiburg against Dortmund. I was very impressed by Freiburg on match day 1. I think this is going to be a pretty tricky game for Dortmund actually to navigate. And when I look at their match day 1 performance against Leverkusen, I guess the big question marks are what's going on with Karim Adeyemi, right? Is Anthony Modeste ready to play in this game? And I think if he plays, then that's a big factor on how this match is going to turn out. But I actually have this as a game where Dortmund could potentially drop points, and my prediction is a 1-1 draw.
Interesting. Yeah, I think this will all come down to which Dortmund teams show up on the day. I think obviously he's out. Sula, I think he's definitely out this game. But we're still waiting to see what will happen with Adeyemi, obviously Özcan, and new signing Modesta. And I think if those 3, or at least 2 or 3 of them play, I think Dortmund should have enough to kind of take something from this game. I'm not entirely sure why I put so much confidence on them. Just because, I didn't think Dortmund were particularly impressive last weekend, but they did grind out a result. And I think on the whole, they probably should have enough to just about scrape by Freiburg. So I've actually gone for 2-1 to Dortmund in this game, just because, I think Freiburg have managed to do really well this summer and pick up the players they want. I just think, like I said, obviously, big difference between whether Adeyemi's playing or not, and whether Modeste's playing, or whether they're still relying on Moukoko. But I think if those 2 players, or one of those players up front, leading the line for Dortmund, they should have enough about them.
Karim Adeyemi for now is listed out with a tear in a joint capsule. That sounds painful. I guess what you have to keep in mind too is that Dortmund did win this last game 5-1, but Freiburg actually have won the last 2 home games against Dortmund. So not always an easy opponent for the black and yellows. Yeah, guess we'll have to see. But yeah, either way, this is a potential stumbling block. Have to point out too that the overall record for Dortmund, though, although they have lost their last 2 away games in Freiburg, is 28 wins in 44 matches, 11 draws and 5 wins for Freiburg. So, on balance, this is a game that Dortmund usually does well in. Yeah, that's my match of the week. Let's move to Saturday. The first game I have down there is Bremen against Stuttgart. And I actually thought Stuttgart played really well on match day 1 against Leipzig. Florian Müller standing on his head, an outstanding performance overall. And this is Bremen's first home game since they've been relegated. And I have this is a narrow 2-1 win for Stuttgart. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel much the same. I was actually also really impressed with Stuttgart against Leipzig. We've been kind of saying this in the previews leading up to this season. If they've got those key players, if they haven't sold them, if they're fit, Stuttgart are a force to be reckoned with this season. I really think that. They gave a really good account of themselves against Leipzig. And I think they should be able to do just about enough against Bremen, who we did have one subscriber ask us if we were going to change our opinions on whether they're going to go down this season, just based on their first match day. And it's a fair point. They obviously, I think, surprised a few people, and they could quite easily pick up a result in this game. But I've gone for 2-0 win for Stuttgart because I think they should have enough about them.
Yeah. I guess we have a consensus here. The next game I have is Leverkusen against Augsburg. And I let you go first here.
I think this is one of the most straightforward fixtures of the weekend, to be honest with you. I thought Leverkusen were actually quite impressive against Dortmund. I think they were unfortunate not to get a win, or at least a draw. The only thing that's really holding them back, perhaps, is obviously that red card to Herdecke, who, we need to kind of see how they can accommodate for that. I'm not his biggest fan, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I think in the real crunch games, he actually holds them back, much the same as Jonathan Tah, who proved it again last week. But I think we're talking about maybe the third or fourth best team in Germany here against one of the teams who should be in the race for relegation. So I think it's going to be a comfortable 2-0 win.
Yeah, I have this as a 3-0 win for Leverkusen. Fun stat, Augsburg have never beaten Leverkusen. The 22 matches, 7 draws is the most Augsburg got out of it.
That's it. That is a fun stat, unless you come from Augsburg.
Yeah, which I am not. But the last 2 results were a 5-1 and a 4-1 win for Leverkusen. Yeah. This seems to be a fixture that they really like. So, I think our prediction is probably pretty straightforward and easy in this one. Up next, I have Hertha against Frankfurt. And I have this as a Frankfurt win, with the caveat that I really want to, be recording this on the day that they're playing against the Real Madrid in the Super Cup. And it'd be interesting to see how they do in this game. And then, of course, Filip Kostic is set to sign for Juventus. So that's a huge loss for them. But I still have this as a narrow 2-1 win for Frankfurt. How about you?
Yeah, I feel kind of much the same, to be honest with you. I'm still not entirely sure of this Frankfurt side. We don't know what state they'll be in after that Super Cup against Real Madrid. And as you said, most likely be playing without Kostic. But I think Hertha are one of the worst teams in division this season. They proved that in the Berlin Derby in match day 1. I think this will be a very tight game. And I've got Frankfurt down to win by a single goal and a 1-0 win. So by no means am I saying that Frankfurt will run away with this game, but I think they should have enough to beat a pretty poor Hertha side.
Yeah. Again, I think we're pretty much in agreement here. The next game is Hoffenheim against Bochum, and here I struggled a little bit, which means that usually I just go for a straightforward 1-1 draw. I'm not sure what to make of either one of these sides yet. And because of that, this is one of those games where, it could be very, very balanced in the end of the day. What do you make of this?
Sorry, what did you say there? Which game was that?
Hoffenheim against Bochum, 1-1.
Sorry, apologies. Yeah, you cut out for a moment there. Yeah, this is probably one of the toughest ones I think to call over the course of the weekend. I had both teams down to struggle this season, and this isn't the same Hoffenheim team from last season. It may not be the same Bochum team from last season too. So I've gone for the cowards approach, and I've gone for a 1-1 draw because I really can't separate these two sides at the moment.
You see, we agree on this one too.
And I inadvertently called you a coward.
The all-time Bundesliga results, and there hasn't been that many games, just 6. Has 4 wins for Bochum and 2 for Hoffenheim, which is actually kind of surprising. And so and Hoffenheim's home record is 1 win, 2 losses. So this could be the first draw between those two teams in this division. So we'll see. We'll wait and see. I don't think there's going to be that much coverage on this game, though, in particular. But let's move on to Leipzig against Köln. And I think this is actually going to be an interesting game. And I guess we have to wait and see if Timo Werner is going to play in this. I think this is probably the question that a lot of people will ask themselves. Is Timo Werner ready to play right away, right? And I think if he is, then this could be one of the games that probably gets the most eyeballs that weekend. Also because Köln are a very big team as well. And I think this is going to have goals. I went for a 3-2 Leipzig victory. Just because I think if Leipzig convert the chances that they had against Stuttgart, they're going to score tons, right? But Köln is also the home of the VAR basement, Timo Werner's natural enemy. So
yeah, you could see a repeat of last week. I've also gone for a Leipzig win. I've gone for 2-1. I think it's going to be a really interesting game because I think Leipzig will have to be much better than they were last week against Stuttgart. Because I think Cologne are probably a better team. But I remember the fact that last season Leipzig didn't really have any problem scoring goals at home. I think actually they were one of the best teams in terms of their goal scoring record, actually in front of their own fans. So those concerns from last week probably aren't as worrisome. But, we still need to see a lot more from them. I don't think Timo Werner will probably play, but I still think they'll probably have enough about them to kind of go on and pick up all 3 points. But it'll be interesting if they don't, because then that would be a real kind of shaky start to the season for Tedesco. So I think there's quite a lot on the line for this game, and it's a very tricky match, so it'll be an interesting one to watch. It was almost my game of the week, but I decided to go elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch this. I think this is going to be the Saturday game I'm going to be watching and keeping a close eye on for various reasons, including maybe Timo Werner being back. He's listed as fit, but he's only signed this week. Could be like a cameo appearance, right? We'll wait and see. The Saturday Topspiel, and this is the late night fixture, right? Is Schalke against Gladbach. Schalke will feel pretty hard done by their match day 1 result. And again, Gladbach is for me what the Germans call a Wundertüte, a surprise bag. We don't really know what we're going to get from them. And I'm actually thinking that at home, Schalke will win this game narrowly 2-1.
Interesting. I've gone for the opposite. I've gone for a 2-1 win for Gladbach. Just because I think, I completely agree that Gladbach are so hot and cold, but I think they'll be up against the Schalke team who will probably throw quite a lot at them. They'll feel an obligation to do so in front of their own fans. And despite my reservations about the Foles in the summer, they actually looked pretty solid in the opening match day against Hoffenheim. So I think they'll probably be able to pick off the Schalke team. It's not going to be a runaway result by any means, but I've gone for a 2-1 win for Gladbach.
Yeah, this is a game where Schalke at home have a very strong record. They've won the majority of the 48 matches at home. I guess the caveat is that this is not the same Schalke side that got relegated. I think, yeah, no.
Sorry, on you go.
I think it's in terms of eyeballs within Germany. I think this is, we were kind of talking ahead of the match day on the lack of big matches, but completely forgetting that Schalke and Gladbach within Germany are two of the biggest sides, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, definitely in terms of their support and historically. But
yeah,
I saw a funny stat. Like I was reading one of these preview articles ahead of this, and their standout stat was that Schalke have failed to win 32 of their last 35 Bundesliga games, which is just one of those stats that's so incredibly irrelevant because all but one of those games was over a year ago, so yeah. I'm not sure we can really use form stats going that far back, but having said that, I still think Gladbach will probably have enough to beat them.
Yeah, we'll see. We differ on this one, but I can see this. I can see why you're going the way you're going with this game. Sunday, Mainz against Union. Mainz very good at home, right? So I have this as a 2-2 draw, even though I was very impressed by Union Berlin on match day 1.
Interesting. I have very little disagree with that. Obviously, they are very good at home. They also were pretty decent in their opening match day against Bochum. So, I think Mainz will probably have quite a lot about them, but I'm still just a big fan of this Union Berlin side. I thought they were very impressive in their opening game. And I keep coming back to the fact that they've now got such a good front line, score goals. I mean, I know they did the last couple of seasons, but the way that it's just kind of clicked into gear from the first match day, it's just such a bonus for Union Berlin. And I think on their day, they're probably a better side than Mainz. So I've gone for a very narrow 2-1 win for Union Berlin. But it could quite easily go either way. There's no doubt about that.
Good. Okay, so the final game, and this is your match of the week, is Bayern against Wolfsburg. My prediction is an easy 4-1 win for Bayern. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because obviously, Wolfsburg don't exactly have a tremendous record against Bayern. I think they've only won 4 of the last 50 matches against them or something like that. It's something bonkers. But I think the interesting thing for me that comes from this match is the fact that there's so many kind of little narratives around it. Obviously, Niko Kovac going back to Bayern Munich. But also the fact that this Wolfsburg side, they've put a lot of money into it, There's a lot of kind of effort being put into building the squad. I kind of have high hopes that they'll do quite well this season. And even though an away trip to Bayern Munich for most teams in the Bundesliga is just a write-off, I'm just really intrigued to see how they'll do. Whether it'll be whether it'll be like another circumstance like Frankfurt, whereby they just kind of, fall down and just kind of let Bayern romp to our victory, or whether Wolfsburg will say, no, do you know what, we've got quality in this team, let's have a go at it. And I think Kovac will go into this game feeling he really has something to prove. And that just brings so much intrigue to me. I mean, I still think Bayern will win the game. I've got them down to win it 3-1. But I think it'll be still a really interesting game. I think it's a very good game to put on the Sunday night, actually, because I think it's a very intriguing match for neutrals and fans alike.
Yeah. There it is. That's the wrap. Match day 2 prediction in the
very efficient.
Very efficient, quick. So we can both go back to our respective lives. Me sleeping, you packing.
Yeah, I was saying very efficient this week.
This we will be back next week. We'll have a special guest because you are still traveling on Monday. I don't want to reveal what it is, but it's going to be fun. And until next time. Before I forget, the show is, of course, always brought to you by Bet Online. And then, until next time, auf Wiedersehen.
Kein Ende
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.